Hey, Beau, is history speeding up?
Well, it's a really important question I think we should all be asking ourselves, especially in this time of exponential change with technology and with our phones that seem to be omnipresent and flicking through and all this constant stimulation that we have. Um, so is time, our history speeding up? I suppose from the perspective of a physicist, which I'm not, the answer would be no, because maybe in some sense time is just time, and that doesn't change. Uh, but what if what's really happening is that our perception of the speed of history is increasing? And that I think is probably true. Well, my Lab of Misfits, Rich Clark in particular, and I've done some experiments on the contextual nature of time, and we've shown that if you change context, you can actually change your perception of time. So how does your brain perceive time? Well, it's a bit like speed. Speed is meters per second. Well, from your brain's perspective, it's stuff per second, right? Or stuff per heartbeat even. The more stuff that happens, the more stimulation that you have in any moment in time, the faster time goes past. The fewer number of things that happen in any 1 second, your experience speed, the slower your life seems to be. So looking back then, as you're flipping through Facebook or flipping through Instagram and getting all this stimulation, it will have the impression that your history is speeding up, which means your life seems to be shorter, right? Who wants that? So this reminds me a bit of life itself, in particular the heartbeats that enable us to live. Well, did you know that the elephant, or elephants on average, have the same number of heartbeats as hummingbirds on average, or the shrews, or any other animal, including ourselves? We all pretty much get a certain number of heartbeats before we die, which is about 1.5 billion heartbeats. And then we die. The more stuff that happens within those 1.5 billion heartbeats, the faster will your life seem. So maybe this is what mindfulness is really in service of. Maybe mindfulness is in service of our perception of time, time itself. By paying attention, by pausing, by experiencing silence, by taking the opportunity to be in front of one of our greatest ancient technologies, the fire, storytelling, listening, maybe that enables us to slow down our perception of time and to slow down our past in order to extend our future. Which brings me to the point probably of rushing. Think about rushing, which is what I was reflecting on earlier today. Has rushing ever improved your life, especially when you're doing something that's meant to be beautiful? Have you ever been grateful for having rushed through a wonderful meal, or rushed through making love, or rushed through walking through nature? Has it ever made it better? For me, the answer is no, and yet I still find myself rushing. I eat too fast. I do many things too fast. And so to not rush, I think, is a conscious choice. So that's maybe the thought I'll leave you with. Maybe we have the opportunity to extend our future life by choosing to pause, by choosing to have fewer things that happen in any one interval in order to appreciate those things that are happening. A bit like when you're driving, the faster you go, the harder it is to notice what's passing by in detail. The slower you go, the more of the detail you can notice and be grateful for. So I'll leave you with that thought.